I am a journalist. For more than 30 years, I have written for magazines covering the evangelical Christian church around the world. As a journalist, I am not an expert in anything, not medicine, theology, or philosophy. What journalism gives me is wide exposure. I talk in depth to church leaders and scholars. I visit places that others don't go, and when I'm there, I interview all kinds of people nonstop. I read widely. I attend events where I stop people during breaks and ask questions. I don't talk only to people I agree with. I interview people who are uncomfortably different from me. I rarely go places to speak or teach. Rather, I go to listen and watch and ask questions. I try to keep my opinions from interfering with my chance to hear what other people believe. I'm there as a witness on behalf of others. People read what I write in order to gain a fair-minded understanding of an event, a personality, or a subject, so that they can make up their own minds. I am committed to Jesus Christ and I believe the Bible. But beyond that, I don't start with an ideology or theology that requires me to interpret miracles in one particular way. I listen and try to make fair judgments. In writing about miracles, I'm dealing with a subject so big and broad that it's impossible to know everything. I can't visit every miracle-seeking ministry. I can't comprehensively cover every country where miracles are reported. Indonesia, China, North Africa. I can't begin to track down and evaluate every miracle reported in my hometown, let alone my state or my country or the world. So I've taken a more personal approach, starting in my own church, where a dramatic story unfolded in front of me. I've gone on to describe miraculous claims I've encountered personally around the world. I've drawn together information from my research, including the Bible and church history. For many people, miracles are not a question of theology, but a matter of hope and desperation. Their understanding of what to expect shapes the way they think and live as Christians. It shapes the way they reach out to unbelieving neighbors and coworkers. It affects how they respond to trials and sickness. It greatly shapes how they think about God. I hope this book will help you to think clearly and live biblically as you ponder what God is doing in the world today and in your life. Why do I care about miracles? Why should anyone? I can offer two primary reasons. The first has to do with faith. I believe in a God who made the universe out of nothing, who has extraordinary power and is alive and active today. That's the God of the Bible, who has claimed my life, and so I want to see His power at work. Many of my neighbors and friends deny that God's power exists at all. Miracles can blast through those doubts, theirs and mine, and make God's power manifest. Then, at a much more existential level, I find that at times I am desperate. I have run out of resources to solve crucial problems and can offer nothing but my prayers. Sometimes the crisis comes as sickness, sometimes because of personal problems, sometimes because of natural disasters. When a friend is miscarrying, I ask God to save the baby's life. When a tornado is bearing down, I cry out for God to help in a direct and amazing way. Who doesn't? They say there are no atheists in foxholes. This book is not addressed to the person who is convinced there are no miracles. Maybe real life will show you something to change your mind, but words on a page aren't likely to do so. I'm well aware that my telling of Jeff's story is not enough to convince you. Neither is this book addressed to those who see miracles every time they turn around. If you have no questions about miracles, I don't particularly want to convince you that you should. This book is not simply a collection of miracle stories. Rather, it is a guide to miracles, how to think about them, pray for them, respond to them, or respond to their absence. This book is a guide for how to live in God's world and how to walk alongside Him as He does His work. It's a book about faith and hope and love as they get worked out on planet Earth. I want to walk through some fundamental issues with you. For example, what is a miracle? Some say it's God doing the impossible, violating the laws of nature. Some say it's much broader than that. If we opened our eyes, they say, we would see miracles all the time. A rainbow, a storm, or life itself. We will sort through the questions of defining miracles. Very close to those issues are matters of science. Can a scientist believe in miracles? For lots of people, science obliterates the possibility of the miraculous. Is that really so? I want to look closely at the Bible. Yes, many miracles occur there. But what kinds of miracles? Do miracles always happen when God is involved with people of faith? What did Jesus believe about miracles? What about Paul and the other apostles? What did they say miracles were for? Beyond the Bible, it's helpful to consider the experiences of other Christians. I will survey the experiences of God's people through the centuries after Jesus. I'll explain the prevalence of miracles in other parts of the world today, particularly Africa, Asia, and Latin America. And I want to talk about the American church scene, especially the rise of charismatic and Pentecostal faith. I'll also say a few words about what to do when God doesn't answer your prayers for miracles. How do you handle it if you're left out when miracles get distributed? People often talk about believing in a God of miracles. What about the God of non-miracles? How do you think and pray when God doesn't do what you long for? In the end, I will sum up with practical advice, offering principles that have come out throughout the book. I hope these principles will help you live and walk with God in a way that pleases Him.